How do you see fashion? Is it creative? Is it a shallow demonstration of self-absorbed behavior, superficial or frivolous, artistic and expressive? This is a site presenting this art form as something that can push boundaries and has much potential. It seeks to make us question preconceived notions, conventions of fashion, and the mindsets. As its creator, I have provided samples of my personal work as an example of its artistic use, such as this piece, which is part of a collection of formal wear inspired by instruments. Blur the lines between instrumental music and band geek culture and incorporate it into fashion and design. Each piece has a different personality and feel to it, and if the wearer so chooses, can express something intangible about them other than what instrument they choose to represent or play. It is somewhat similar to the concept of zodiac sign designs, such as the always out-of-the-ordinary bass clarinet, the sophisticated older sibling to the much more well-known soprano clarinet. Fresh, confident, energetic, and reliable, its master isn't afraid to learn something that doesn't exactly fit into a neat category and is not the world's most common. Individuals choose to express themselves through their fashion choices, as well as the prevalence of personalized, custom, or significant items. It is often more integral to the construction of our identities than we may realize. We often become extremely attached to a certain item because of the associations and memories attached to it. We buy souvenirs as a tangible representation of memories and experiences. The relevance of fashion is coming even more to the forefront in the internet and social media age, with buzzwords and topics such as diversity, inclusion, social media promotion, changing beauty standards, and social awareness. While fashion is heavily reliant on tradition, certain brands and designers are an excellent example of pushing back against sometimes oppressive conventions. One of these, a sort of case study given in the website, is Clarinet, with its concept of clothing that adapts to the wearer, embracing technology and diversity. As a brand and creative force, Clarinet explores the intersection of art and technology. While this may not necessarily be multi-modal, it is multi-genre fashion, innovative and socially conscious. Aspects of a runway fashion show will be examined and social media promotion highlighted, which integrates topics such as diversity in the fashion industry, inclusion, body positivity, and changing beauty standards, and social awareness. It includes the use of visuals such as lights and prop structures and makeup in addition to the clothes, music and its interaction with the visuals, timing, and concept. Chromat's use of 3D printing to make garments custom fit to every body envisions a future where the individual, instead of a few in authority, set the standards for many different people's physical appearance as a step in breaking down both the elitist structure of fashion and domineering views of body standards. This art form has already begun to integrate technology, but it has even further prospects to be innovative and give the wearer ability to adjust the experience of their surroundings. While policymakers and influencers have historically been, and frequently still are, either white, male, and/or have upper-class interests in mind, the impact they have is not confined to their falsely collective power group, but instead many more individual identities and intersection of identities. Such a sense of oligarchical power cannot be only ignorant but dangerous as a misunderstanding and erasing of individuals and identities, since the policy or social standards made and or upheld come from this sort of in-group to benefit that in-group. Fashion or apparel design, creation of outfits is also relevant because of personal expression and symbolism. You may or may not have noticed its use in character design and development. What makes a certain character so iconic, even if they are only described in words and not visualized by their creator, such as Holden Caulfield from The Catcher in the Rye and his red checkered hat. It's a common cliche that a picture is worth 1,000 words, and in many cases the design of a character or an object associated with them. Something as simple as a character's signature style or identifiable outfit can speak more about them than can be stated outright without blatantly describing everything about the character. For example, the subtle color coding of main characters in the movie Heathers, playing into color symbolism such as red for power with a red scrunchie passing between girls to identify and represent the alpha or the deconstruction of their power. In my works, this appears with each original character. The outfits and color schemes are often composed to reflect an expression of their situation or personality. How clothing and accessories are used to identify or characterize a fictional being is derived heavily from our use of these items to identify or characterize or present ourselves. There are links between psychology and fashion, also particularly in the associations between a piece and a characteristic, or memories, and how people express themselves outwardly and visually. Similarly to how synapses allow immediate communication fashion and appearance can be an instant connection between people. Visual conditioning and judgment, assumptions and associations are extremely powerful and play a large role in who we decide to talk to or want to connect with at first sight. This is even more apparent within subcultures or social, economic, and political groups. Consider how young adults are highly visually oriented, and as a demographic in general, we are extremely receptive to visual media, almost more so than oral. My site highlights the potential of fashion as a vehicle for expression and exploring an intersection of different modes of communication rather than something simply frivolous or superficial. Although it tends to be a heavily commercialized art form, it has the potential to be much more than irrelevant, trivial, or simply a background to more important things. I intend to examine multimodality and multimedia in a fashion show, also to demonstrate its social and cultural relevance. Additionally, I seek to expand on potential for innovation and practicality in this art form, as well as validating its significance in individual lives. With this website, I would like to push modern media creators and consumers, particularly young adults, to question previous perceptions and challenge how they see fashion as something that is interwoven into us and our media more deeply than is often